Welcome back. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, Stevie B, back in the Matrix, live this time. And my true story is about the Celtics contention. And when I say true story, I mean this is no lie. And what you've watched is no lie. Okay? The fact that this team is scoring over 100 points and they got backups playing, 10-day contract guys playing, resting your basically what is your big three left outside of Terry Rozier. If you think the Celtics are to be taken lightly, it is people are totally mistaken. It's crazy because even as a Celtics fan, I've got to be a bit reserved about being overly overhyping my team. At the end of the day, the Celtics are not to be messed with. I think Jaylen Brown has shown himself to be a number one scorer, plain and simple. He has taken his game to a new level in the past couple of weeks since he returned from his concussion. Al Horford is played at an incredible level the second half of the season. And if we just revert back to his playoff history last year, Al Horford played at an incredible level in terms of efficiency, in terms of getting on the boards, in terms of shooting percentage. Al Horford's efficiency was so incredible last year in the playoffs, and what we've seen him working towards and continuing to develop his three-point game, as well as use his passing ability in a way that he may not have had to. Maybe they didn't have to highlight that as much early in the season. Obviously because Kyrie, obviously because you have Marcus Smart handling the ball. But in this particular situation, Terry Rozier is your one point guard with the ball in his hand that can do anything. However, he is playing within a team offensive scheme and doing it well. So you have guys like Marcus Morris, Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, all looking to each other rather than Terry Rozier having to feel like all the pressure's on him to make something happen. It then allows him to step back and be who he is. And that's the talented scorer he is, the intense defender he is. You couple into that the fact that Jason Tatum has emerged the way he is. Shane Larkin is doing just fine at the backup. I'd say he's doing just fine, And then you have, a potential Marcus Smart if they get to the second round. Aaron Baines, Greg Monroe has evolved into this system just the way I hoped he would. And I saw from the second he got here, every week there'd be a little bit more progression in terms of how fluid he looked. Now, they were initially over that second week last week trying to start running the offense through him. And now you see the man getting a triple-double. And they played, bums the past couple games, but they've been playing with their backup lineups. You have a lineup of Monroe, Semi Ojeleye, Jaylen Brown, Shane Larkin. It's like how are you even, and then you have Yabusele, It's like how do you not notice the difference in the way these guys are playing? Semi Ojeleye is to be counted on big defensively and as our backup in the playoffs, to spot in between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum getting rest so that they have one of them on the backup lineup. But Semi Ojeleye also is a legit three-point shooter and has found his confidence. He's found his confidence with his handle a little bit to where he'll move with the ball if he needs to. Each one of these guys, coupled with the fact that the defense is what it is, obviously coaching is the biggest part of why all this is possible. That and Marcus Morris is much more than I gave him credit for at the beginning of the season. And that was only in comparison to his brother, say the truth. To me, he's better than his brother. And he's shown that, plain and simple. He's shown that. I do believe that Jaylen Brown is about to take a step this year to where next year it's going to be an automatic. He is your number 2 scorer. Gordon Hayward will be the 2 guy within the offense. The 3 man that plays within the offense, a la Ray Allen. So, with that being said, should the Celtics see the Bucks in the first round, that's a pretty much a given. The Celtics will take that. I'm not saying Antetokounmpo isn't a force to be reckoned with, but he can go ahead and score 30 points all he wants. Defensively, we know how to play him. Forcing that man into shots, forcing that team into shots that they don't want to shoot. I've noticed the Celtics slow things down over the past week, and having your backup guys know how to slow things down and play a playoff style ball, a possession style ball, and knowing that your team starts on the defensive end, then that is every bit of the truth that I need to speak right now, and there's no more to be said. This team starts on the defensive end. Terry Rozier is a monster, and he is just a sleeping giant, okay? The man can hit threes with the best of them. The man can get to the hole like a John Wall, which is why I honestly don't want us to play the Wizards, because I feel like they'll do Terry Rozier dirty, simply because he's up against John Wall and the name, all right? Whereas Terry Rozier, I feel like, is a better defender than John Wall. Okay, he may not have the length and arms, but he is a better defender, a more consistent, at least, intense defender than John Wall. I'm not saying John Wall isn't capable of being a good defender. I'm just saying Terry Rozier is consistent, okay? And he is just as, he is just as athletic a guard as John Wall is, okay? People sleep on the speed Terry Rozier has going up and down the court, okay? People sleep on the fact that he can shoot the 3-point shot better than John Wall, okay? Bradley Beal and Jaylen Brown, to me, are almost a wash. But everything else we win at. So, given that I think we're going to play the Bucks, I'm saying that, we take that game like it's nobody's business. At the end of the day, Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and Baines or Morris lineup is legit defensively to start. And depending on who we play is how we'll know how we have to play. All right? And I say we because I'm a Boston man for life. Y'all know Stevie B, Boston. So without any questions or without anything being, changed from right now, in terms of, okay, as long as everybody that we know is available right now, is available, come number 1 of the playoffs, the Celtics will take the first round. I think Paul Pierce actually had it right to speculate that. Shout out to Paul Pierce for actually being, not just being a homer on that. If you look at the team, they should make it out of the first round. Jaylen Brown is matching some of these dudes that are 3, 4, 5 years deep, that are these swing men that, are supposed to be the premier guys coming up in the league, and Jaylen Brown is matching these guys. And when you can't key in on him because Tatum is just going to is right there. All Tatum has to do is make one jumper, get fouled one time, and then bam, his confidence is going to be where it needs to be. This is a team that can play from the lead, play with the lead, still can get a lead, play with the lead, and can come from behind, and can squeak out the final minutes of the game. I've seen this team. Last year's team was good. That's no problem. But I knew for a fact that if the game was in the balance in the last couple minutes against a LeBron team, a Milwaukee Bucks team, a Toronto team, a team with something to prove, then I saw it was more of a 50-50 thing. We'd win some, we'd lose some. This team actually goes and gets it in the end of games. All right. I'm not speaking about today. That was the Bulls. All the backups were in. I'm not really going to speak about that. All right. Plain and simple. All right. The backups are not supposed to be capable of being world beaters all the time. A lot of mistakes were made. It is what it is. All right. The fact that was the score, and your big time players would have shut that game down. We were up by 10. The game would have been over had they left in, or had they even stuck back in a Jaylen Brown or an Al Horford. It would have been over. Okay, so shouts out to the new starting lineup. Okay, Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and depending on matchup, Baines or Morris. I'll take that 5. You look at the bench. Okay, let's go with the bench. You got Larkin, Semi Ojeleye. I know it sounds crazy, but you got to say them two just off the rip. But those are your first two guys off the bench, and you got Greg Monroe. Okay, he's not to be messed with. Okay, then you got it's weird because your boy Nader is something to look at coming up. The man's confident, and he started driving the ball to the hole, and he's playing intense defense. As long as they're able to play a half court set well, which they seem to be able to do, score a few points, keep the game even. Do not allow themselves to get behind by any, supposed attempt to get in your feelings and have jitters. Fuck jitters. Play the same way. All right. So Celtics second round, and if they see the Sixers, we'll talk about that later. Depends on if Embiid is there. This is not gonna be this is gonna be an interesting playoffs, and we'll talk about that up and coming. But the Celtics are contenders, plain and simple. Everyone's talking about, oh, is Toronto a contender again because they beat the Celtics the other night? Didn't the Celtics just beat Toronto by 10 with our true lineup? That's gonna be. I'm sorry, Toronto didn't beat our whole lineup. I'm sorry, that was not the whole team there. Not this whole team after the injuries. So, call that what you want. Toronto's got some great ball players, but I don't believe that they'll be there at the end. They may not even make the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's just, it's because, to me, they fall in the middle of the East. For the Celtics to have these injuries and still be doing what they're doing proves that there are some teams that are just there. You either have LeBron or you have this team, this coach, this defensive system, and these young dudes that are just balling out of control. Coupled with the efficiency of a Horford. And Terry Rozier has experience. Why is no one? Dude. So let me sign off for now. I'll be getting at y'all about what's coming up, and we'll be more in depth, detail wise, but. All in all, the Celtics are true contenders. Let's not put this to bed. Anyone that wants to challenge that, get at me. Okay? Talk to y'all later.